Definitely. Parents were stranded overseas, unable to return to their children. Spouses were left in limbo, their marriages now divided by an invisible wall. At airports across the world, chaos erupted. People holding valid visas were turned away at check-in counters. Some were detained for hours upon arrival, only to be forced onto return flights. Others were denied entry before they even got the chance to say goodbye to loved ones waiting on the other side. For many families, this wasn't just a delay, it was the end of a dream. Parents missed out on milestones they had waited their whole lives for. Weddings were postponed indefinitely. Worst of all, some people lost the chance to be by their loved one's side in their final moments. Funerals were missed, last goodbyes were left unsaid. Beyond families, the travel ban crushed the dreams of thousands of students, professionals, and business owners. Some of the brightest minds from around the world had been accepted into U.S. universities, ready to start their education and build their futures. But as the travel ban took effect, their student visas were canceled. Years of hard work, sleepless nights, and sacrifices were wasted. For workers, the impact was just as devastating. Doctors who had secured positions in hospitals found themselves unable to start their jobs, despite healthcare shortages that desperately needed their skills. Engineers and researchers ready to contribute to innovation and progress were told they could no longer enter. Every time we share these stories, we open up a conversation that the world needs to hear. At GlobeWander, we bring you deep, meaningful travel documentaries that reveal the human side of global events. If you've ever had to fight for your dreams, been affected by immigration policies, or simply want to understand the world better, make sure you subscribe. Your support helps us continue telling these important stories. While the legal and economic impacts of the ban were severe, the emotional toll it took on those affected was just as profound. Many were left in a state of deep anxiety, constantly checking the news, hoping for any sign of change. Some experienced depression, feeling completely helpless as they waited for answers that never seemed to come. For those trapped outside the U.S., life was filled with uncertainty. Many had already left their previous homes, expecting to start a new life in America. Now, they had nowhere to go. Some spent months, even years, bouncing between countries, searching for a place to stay while waiting for a policy reversal that might never come. For those inside the U.S., the pain of separation was unbearable. Parents were left without their children. Spouses were forced to continue their lives alone. Many were constantly torn between staying in the U.S., where they had built careers and stability, or leaving everything behind to reunite with their families elsewhere. In response to the ban, outrage spread across the U.S. and the world. Protesters flooded airports, demanding justice for those who had been unfairly detained or turned away. Lawyers rushed to help stranded travelers, working pro bono to fight deportation orders. Civil rights groups challenged the policy in court, arguing that it was discriminatory and unconstitutional. Despite the protests, legal battles dragged on for years. Some families waited years before finally being allowed to reunite. Others had moved on, forced to rebuild their lives elsewhere. Some had lost loved ones before they ever got the chance to see them again. Thousands of families were torn apart by the U.S. travel ban, and some are still suffering the consequences today. Their voices deserve to be heard. Here at GlobeWander, we uncover the stories that matter. But we can't do it alone. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful story that could change how you see the world. What happens now? The travel ban serves as a painful reminder of how government policies affect real lives. It shows how a single decision can ripple through thousands of families, businesses, and communities, leaving permanent consequences. So what can we learn from this? And more importantly, how do we prevent something like this from happening again? As we reflect on these stories, one thing is clear. Policies should be made with compassion, understanding, and humanity at their core. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's continue this conversation. Do you know someone who was affected by the travel ban? How do you think immigration policies should be handled?